Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and more. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 16 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience and those tuning in online. We're glad that you all could tune in with us. We are always trying to inspire you all to not only to realize your gifts, but also to be able to do what you can to be able to pursue those gifts, knowing that that's where the reward is. Our next guest definitely knows that well. We're excited to welcome Tommy Brown to our program today. You guys know him not only as an actor, but also as a content creator. We're going to talk to Tommy not only about his own journey in front of the camera, but also what it's been like for him to do work that he loves and to be able to share that with all of you. At the end of last year, he helped us to understand a big project that came his way because of the hard work he's been able to put in. We'll talk to him a little bit about that, but also how he's using social media to be able to not only to create his own content, but also let you guys know what's coming up as well. Tommy, thank you so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you having me. Appreciate it.
Okay, man. Glad to do it. So a lot for us to be able to cover in this segment. I want to begin, though, with what I think is really the big theme for you, and that is the work. I think a lot of times people look at the success you've been able to have. They look at the projects you've been able to do for whether it's short films or even, of course, what we're going to talk about a little bit later, the Life Jennings story, and they see the end result. They don't always think about the work. So what has it been like for you, Tommy, to see how the hard work has really been paying off for you?
Well, I work so hard, I don't really take the time to look at my body of work, and actually the beginning of this year, I actually took the time to look back and reflect on, my hard work and what I've done up to, January. And that was when the Life Jennings story came my way. And, it was just a lot of hard work. So I never really paid attention to what I was doing. I was just pretty much just working hard, man. I was just working real hard. And once I realized it, I looked at my body of work and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So I pretty much amazed myself doing this.
Yeah. So did you know going in, though, Tommy, that it was going to, that if you were going to reach the levels that you wanted, if you wanted the projects like you had dreamed about getting, did you know from the beginning that it was going to take that hard work to get it?
You know what? I did know. I did know because, well, first off, I started out on television, hosting my own video show called Headbanger Video, which came out of New Haven, Connecticut. Brought it to Philadelphia in 2008. So what that was doing, and I didn't even realize it, is hosting my own TV video show was preparing me for the screen to do acting, and that's how that came about. Gotcha.
So take us into that then. I mean, have you always known then that you had something that you wanted to share? I mean, you talked about even having your own show before the acting. So did you always know that you had something that you wanted to be able to share with the world?
I did, and well, I started out as a rap artist, so that was what I was focused on. I never had intentions on being an actor or hosting my own television show. It all started out from being a rap artist, which I won the Apollo Theater before. So I went that far as winning the Apollo Theater. So that's pretty much all I was worried about was the music aspect of it. And, over the years, one thing led to another. Then I ended up getting my own TV show, ended up hosting it. And then that was training me for acting, and I didn't even know it. And here I am now on the big screen.
Right. Exactly. And I think that is the thing. And again, it goes to what we were saying. I mean, the hard work really paying off for you. So, I mean, I want to talk about that. I mean, because even the music side, I think a lot of times, people may not even realize. I knew from our first conversation, you and I had talked about that. I mean, talk to us about the love of music, because I think today in the world where we're in with 2020, music has really helped a lot of people to stay sane. I think more people are understanding the power that music has to bring people together. What was it that made music speak to you that way?
What made music speak to me? I grew up in the era of your LL Cool J and your Run DMCs and Houdini, and I was so influenced over the music, the rap, and I was so influenced by it that I found out that I was able to do it. So being so influenced by music, that's what got me into music, and I started writing my songs at 11 years old. So at 11, it pretty much hit me. At 11 years old, I started writing music, and around 15, I ended up producing my first record that I won the Apollo with. So I have some history as far as when I started music, when I recorded my first song, and my first song I won the Apollo Theater with. So once that happened, I knew that this was for me. I knew to just keep going, and I guess wherever I ended up, and that's, I'm acting now.
Right. Well, definitely as time has gone on, Tommy, we've seen so many different evolutions, right, when it comes to music, how we get music, how people are able to even discover people these days. Social media has played a big role in that. What was that transition like for you to go from primarily being able to share with people person to person, word of mouth, to then having the internet to be able to reach the world?
Well, back then, we didn't have social media.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very different. It is very different. It's actually a good tool now that we, this day and time that we have social media to reach out to people and gain your fan base. It's very different. I know from back then, I would gain fans from doing shows or making appearances, like personal appearances. Now it's just pretty much like a push of a button. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just push a button. Everything's digital now.
Right. And it's funny you said that because, that is kind of applied to everything, right? Even the music industry has had to adjust. Even, actors, it's so funny when I talk to actors, they almost feel as though social media has become another job because it's so much a big part of them promoting the different projects. So talk to us about that transition for you. You've gone from being able to, as you said, you're doing music, Tommy, then, hosting a show, then acting. How did the acting part come in?
Well, the acting part came about I was doing the taping for my show. It's called Headbanger Video, and there were a few people, maybe about 10 people. I was in a loft. Now, first I wasn't even considering acting. We throw acting out the window. I'm just focused on my show. So I interviewed someone, and after I got done, they came over, approached me, and they said, "Well, who writes out your questions? Who writes your questions for you? Do someone help you, or you write your own?" I said, "Well, I don't really write any questions down." So she said, "So you mean to tell me that you just interviewed that person for almost an hour and you didn't have not one question that you knew that you wanted to ask them?" I said, "No." So she was like, "Wow, how do you do that?" And so I told her, I said, "Listen, I just, not that I'm going off the top, because it flowed like you would never know. Like if you saw me do it, you would think that I had questions that I wanted to ask, and I didn't." So she said, "Well, you know what? You are a natural actor, and you don't even know it." She was actually an actress herself. And when she said that to me, I was like, okay, acting, never thought about it. Like, I might give it a try. It took about 3-4 years after that. And I thought about it that particular day because someone sent a script to me and wanted me to, try it out because they knew I never did any acting. So I thought about that particular day, and I was like, you know what? She mentioned that to me. She was very sincere. She saw something maybe I didn't see. So I said, let me try it. So I tried my first script, knocked it out of the park, and then I got hungry for more. And I said, let me try another one. And after that, it just one after another, after another, after another, and that's how I got into acting.
And here we are now. With the projects continue to come your way, with great projects you've been able to be a part of. We're going to get more into that, especially with the life-changing story. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, though, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Tommy Brown to our program today. Tommy's someone you guys have gotten to know in front of the camera as an actor, but he's also a content creator with his own show as well. We're going to let you guys know more about that and how he's using new media to be able to share that, especially when it comes to his guests. So talk to us again. I mentioned the video you did that people can watch. Tommy, on your Facebook page that you posted in December 2019, where you were talking about, doing the acting for a while, and that you had this great project, and then you said, I'm just going to let this guy tell you about it, and then there is Life Jennings. Talk to us about that moment. I mean, what was that like for you? I mean, to be in that moment, to be able to share that with those who have become your support system.
Wow, that moment. I want to lead you up to that moment.
Okay.
Up to that moment when I got a call from a casting director. This was out of the blue. I think I was taking my daughter somewhere. I got a phone call out the blue, and there was a casting director that said, I saw a picture of yours that I liked. And I said, okay. And she said, well, I sent it over to Life Jennings, and because he's doing a Life Jennings story called My Life. And you actually fit what he's looking for. She said that there were some major actors that couldn't take the roles. Wesley Snipes was one of them, but he was a little busy. There was another actor, Bokeem Woodbine. He was another actor that was, auditioning or whatever. But when they saw my picture with me, and she asked could I send a audition video in. So I said yes, I can send an audition video in, and I sent the video in, and just so happened a few days later, I got a call. She said Life Jennings loved it. We have to work down to Atlanta to meet Life, and at his mansion, and he wanted to do a read with me, and he wanted to see me in person, not
right.
just from a video, because I don't live in Atlanta, which I am the only Philadelphia cast member in the Life Jennings story. And, I flew down and met him. He's a really good guy. He's, around my age, so we kind of from the same era. Real good guy. And, he was very excited to meet me. I was excited to meet him. I did my read for him, and, I blew him away, and he looked over to the casting, to the producer. The producer of his of the Life Jennings story is the producer of Wild 'N Out too. If you watch Wild 'N Out or whatever, he looked over at the producer and said, "I told you that he's it." And from there, I came home to prepare to get ready to go back. Maybe a few weeks later to actually do my scene.
So I think just hearing that part, I mean, it really talks about the importance. We all have heard that saying, Tommy, about stay ready so you don't want to get ready. Do you think that really was the key for you, that you kind of always stayed ready for opportunities when they presented themselves?
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. For me, staying active and still doing other films leading up to that, still hosting, it kept me prepared. So when it came my way, I knocked it out of the park. And also the role I play is Lucifer. So I actually play the devil, basically.
Wow. Well, I think, again, that gives us something we're going to let our audience know, of course, how to stay connected with you at the end. I want to push forward a little bit and talk about the other avenue, because not only are you acting, you also are hosting another program. Talk to us about that and how you're using social media, Tommy, to be able to not only to share these interviews, but also to build your audience there too.
Okay, so what I call my show Chat with Tommy Brown. I have a fan base from off of television. So what I did was I hosted Headbanger Video. I came off television, then I came back on with a new show called The Tommy Brown Show, which that was my talk show. I had a set, I had a live audience, a DJ, I had the whole nine. So my fan base know me from, doing interviews from TV, which I ended up with a talk show. I have a few more episodes to do to actually launch that for television. So what I did, since that wasn't ready, and then, I was setting up to do a podcast, and then COVID-19 hit. So in the mix of COVID-19, I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and do my Instagram live chat with Tommy Brown, since we're all home. I mean, we're all quarantined, so I figured I'll just, launch it from my Instagram live. And from the Instagram live, I'm going to move into a building with the whole, podcast and everything. Once this pandemic died down, I'm not really pretty much doing too much right now. Everything is pretty much still at home, and I'm still doing the IG live too. 'Cause I'm trying to be safe as well too. As I have a couple underlining things too going on, so I'm trying to stay away as much as possible till we figure this thing out. So that's how I came about with the chat with Tommy Brown, which that was getting ready to be my podcast. But it is my podcast, and I launched it on Instagram Live, and waiting till this die down, and maybe once I'll be able to move into my space where I'm doing the podcast at. So that's how that led to that. Yeah.
Well, two things with that I want to talk about, Tommy. For one, I want you to let our audience know, of course, what the format of the show is. But I also want to talk about, again, the importance of opportunities. One of the things, I think you and I talked about this when we were setting up this conversation, I think one of the things that people have been missing out on is taking advantage of this time. Yes, a lot of things have to shift, but like you mentioned, you weren't able to do one thing, but you were able to switch and say, okay, I'm going to do this on Instagram, or use Facebook, to be able to do this. Is that one of the things that you tell people about the importance of taking advantage of the moment? Because, like you just said, we don't know how things are going to continue to shift moving forward, not only with the pandemic, with everything else that's going on. Is that kind of been important for you to keep moving forward with something?
Absolutely, yes. When the pandemic hit, everyone was affected. It doesn't matter who you are, what you were doing. Everyone got affected. Like, whole Hollywood shut down. Sports shut down. Me, I was, pretty much, out doing my acting, audition to audition. That even slowed down. So it took a couple weeks. It took me maybe a good month because I had to figure some things out. I'm like, well, I'm not used to being like at a standstill. I'm used to always doing something in the entertainment business, hosting. And one day I was just laying in bed and I'm like, well, what can I do right now to, my whole thing was, what can I do to help the situation? I was thinking of what could I do to help out with COVID-19. So I was kind of narrowing it down. Still wasn't thinking, doing my IG Live. So I'm like, all right, well, I can't really go out in public too much. So what can I do? I said, a light shine. I said, why don't I just since I was going to do my podcast, why don't I just do it live, and I can find out how my audience is doing? Because my whole really of doing the chat with Tommy Brown is my podcast, but I really want to know, and I really want to know how people are doing. Family and friends, fans. Because when I started out my show, I had a guest, but I think it was a couple of shows. I just did Q&A. I just brought people in and interviewed them. I wanted to know how people are really doing out there. People that I don't know that are fans. I bring them in on my page and how are you? A lot of people were very excited to be on my page with me, and I wanted to know how everyone's doing. And I figured, doing my Instagram Live, I could give some kind of entertainment because we are all home. Like, we're either home watching Netflix or we're on our phones half the time or on our laptop. So I figure if I can do that, I can, go live and, my fans and family and friends can go on and be entertained and entertain with me. As I bring people in as my guests. So that's pretty much that. I just wanted to know how everyone's doing, along with the entertainment and I give current news and I'm starting to do live performances now, so I've added some things as time went along. Like, if anybody was to go back and watch the beginning of when I started, you'll see that, I'm sitting on my couch and you see my curtains behind me, but after a while, then you started seeing my logo. So it's a lot of progression just from me starting this from home. So I have my logo now. I have a intro song being done as we're speaking. I have an intro song being made now as we speak. So yeah, it had to start somewhere, and now I'm just going with the flow now. Everything is like really, really picking up. So I just can't wait to get the ball rolling so I can actually move into my office, to do my podcast. Whenever this die down, though.
Right.
I'm not rushing it. Yeah.
Well, we're definitely going to let our audience know to stay connected with you. Last thing I want to talk to you about, Tommy, then we're going to definitely recap and kind of let our audience know where to find you online, and that is as we kind of talk about this process, we talked about social media and how it kind of revolutionized things. I want to talk about fans, because you are definitely not in this by yourself. You've been able to build your own tribe from different projects and also from new things. What has that been like for you to have people who don't even really know you, but who follow your journey? They're rooting for you along the way.
It like sent waves to my heart, man. Just to know people is really pushing and rooting for me that I don't even know. It makes me work harder. It really makes me dig deep and really, really work harder. If I'm someone that people are watching, I want to keep y'all entertained, in a positive manner. You know what I mean? I'm one of those positive guys. I believe in positivity. And I like to give off the positivity, and I get more positivity from all the feedback from the fans, rooting for me.
Well, I know they appreciate that, and you also are showing them by example what they can achieve. I mean, how does that feel? Because you are just doing what you love to do, but how does it feel to know that you're encouraging people along the way to go after their own goals and dreams?
I take it as, well, I know I'm a role model. And I know I'm highly respected, looked up to, and as far as me being a leader, like, I'm honored to know that people's even following my journey. I've had a few people that reached out to me and told me that I inspire them, and it doesn't even have to be entertainment. Like, I had someone reach out to me that he said I inspire him, and he plays basketball. So it has nothing to do with entertainment. Well, it does. Basketball is entertainment, but not far as what I do, far as acting or whatever. And I had someone that reached out to me that's a poet, someone that reached out that's a book author, and they reached out and said I inspire them. I really appreciate that. That's what drives me to keep inspiring.
Well, I know they appreciate it, man, and you're definitely making a difference. Again, everyone, Tommy Brown has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Tommy. We've been talking with Tommy not only about the journey to doing what he loves in front of the camera, but also what it's been like for him to build his career, to build his brand, and to be able to share that with us from project to project, whether we're talking about his own talk show, doing music, acting, and then, of course, being able to show even through other forms of media what is possible. Now, we mentioned it a few times here, Tommy, but I want to go back, let our audience know, where's the best place for them to kind of stay connected with you and all the updates on the projects with you?
You can reach me at, let's see. You can reach me at, my Instagram. You can reach me at Tommy Brown HBV. That's the H is in Harry, B is in boy, V is in Victor, Tommy Brown HBV. The same as Twitter. Twitter's the same as my Instagram. My Facebook is Tommy Brown. That's my Twitter, my Instagram, and Facebook. Yep.
So make sure you guys are definitely staying connected with him. For those who are joining us online, we've already tagged Tommy on his Facebook and his Twitter to make it easy for you guys to be able to find him there. Tommy, man, great conversation with you. We know we'll be having you back to kind of catch up on some other things and also, of course, be able to speak to our audience. But definitely, it goes without saying, you're welcome back here anytime, man.
I appreciate it. And also, can I give out my manager's information in case anybody wants to?
Oh, definitely, sure. Yeah, sure.
His information, I'm going to give his Instagram. You can just DM him. It's J. Reed, HBV. That's on Instagram. You'll see the Headbanger, the red and black Headbanger Entertainment logo. So if anybody want to reach out to me for any bookings, we can talk, definitely.
All right. So make sure you guys reach out. Again, man, congratulations to you, and definitely continued blessings.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.